Regina here at Tarot and Time in Kent, Connecticut. Let's talk about the month of December astrology, and we'll pull a few tarot cards. Now you can relax and sit back and listen to this video. I will be posting it in week-by-week segments so you can stay up to date. So let's jump right in. So this month we're already in the midst of a Mercury retrograde, and we all know Mercury retrogrades can be a wild time, not necessarily a horrible thing, but things can get complicated or confusing or mixed up. So just remember to check everything 3 times. And, you know, I was on a phone call with tech support today for Zoom, and it wasn't until the 3rd attempt that I was able to get it fixed. And so just know that's just kind of the way it rolls. And if you feel frustrated, that's the solution, okay? 3 times over things. Now, the Mercury retrograde is going to go until December 15th. And it's kind of an interesting Mercury retrograde. I talked about it last month, how it's in the sign of Sagittarius, but it's opposite the planet Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So you've got like these crisscrosses going on. And so just pay attention, take notes, because remember, this Mercury retrograde will take us back in time to everything that's been going on since November 7th. So we get those 3 times over, and by the 3rd time we should get it right. Okay, so there may be some redos, there may be some reconnections, all the re's, you know, reassessing, redetermining, reevaluating, renegotiating, all that kind of stuff. Now, it's kind of a weird time because you know that Pluto just moved into Aquarius. Finally, it is done with Capricorn for the rest of our lifetimes, moving into the Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. Now, we kick it off with this Mercury retrograde, and then we have a Mars retrograde. Mars is the planet of action, and it's going to begin its retrograde on December 6th, and it's going to go on till February 23rd. But then you know how retrogrades, like Mars will be moving along, it gets to the retrograde, it moves back, then it goes direct, and it moves back over the period again. So it's the 3 swipe again. So really and truly, this Mars retrograde is going to affect us till spring. Then we're going to go into a Venus retrograde, March 1st through April 12th, okay? So we're in all these retrograde periods. I think we still have Jupiter retrograde. We got a bunch of retrogrades. So we are not going to have a lot of clarity until spring and summer of 2025. And the more that I listen to other astrologers talking about 2025, the more that I do my own research of 2025, looks like we are going to have a lot of wake-ups about things. If we take this time over these winter months to allow things to kind of show themselves, right? We're at the end of degrees with Neptune in Pisces, and we're getting towards the later degrees of Saturn in Pisces. Then these planets are going to move into Aries. There's going to be a significant change in how we feel between these planets being in this watery sign of Pisces into this fiery, go get it energy of Aries, okay? So my advice to you is to take this period of time, observe, you know, you got to do your everyday life, but I wouldn't be pushing for a ton of new things, especially while Mars is in retrograde. It's a good time to observe. Though a lot of astrologers have been using the word gestation period, and gestation is like a baby growing, right, in the mother's womb. And so our lives are kind of like just like growing, and we have to rest, and we have to take breaks, and we have to kind of look at things from a different viewpoint over this winter. And so if we can do that, then by spring, we can start really moving forward with our new fresh energy, the birth of our new self. And there's going to be themes, you know, we've got Saturn and Pisces, which I always think is such an interesting placement because Saturn is so go, go, go and get things done and show up and be present for your responsibilities. And Pisces is so the opposite. So this is a really good time to sit with, are the things that we're pushing for the right things for us? Take a pause back. How do we want to be feeling? Because remember, Pisces is associated with the sign of the undoing, right? The 12th house that Pisces owns is called the house of the undoing. And I feel like that feels a little morbid in some ways about how these things that can catch up with us and undo us. But it's the reality that we need to pay attention to these kind of things. Like Pisces rules alcohol, drugs and alcohol, right? That can really undo us. Or we know, we've watched so many families be destroyed by alcohol, right? So that is the undoing. So when we look at Saturn in Pisces, it's like, this is our career. This is our work. This is our goals and our things that we're working hard for. This is our legacy and our long-term success. So we really want to take this period of Pisces to kind of sit with it and think about and feel our way through what's working and what's not working. Okay. And by spring, a lot of those things are going to get implemented into action. Okay. So if you're considering big moves, if you're not sure which way to go because of all this cloudiness of Pisces, get the rest, get your stuff in order over the winter, take some breaks to reflect. That's what the universe, that's what the chart is asking you to do. Okay. So slow down, be very careful about impulse buying with Mars in retrograde. Okay. We already know that buying a lot of big ticket items through Mercury retrograde is never a good idea because things get messed up, as they always do in Mercury retrograde. But during a Mars retrograde, we don't want to be pushing, because Mars is the planet of action. Mars is the god of war in Greek mythology. This is the retrograde. This is like the opposite. So we want to kind of kick back and look at our actions and look at where we want our actions to be bringing us. But we want to take well thought out action. Okay. And with Mars in this spicy sign of Leo, and Leo wants what it wants. And so Leo's associated with the term I will. So our will is involved. Make sure that we are actually spending our monies where it makes sense for us. Maybe take a really good look at your finances over the winter and make sure that it's not undoing you. Okay. So let's start off where we left off last month, which was on December 2nd. And on December 2nd, Monday, December 2nd, we will have the moon moving out of the sign of Sagittarius and moving into the sign of Capricorn later in the day before dinner. Okay. And the moon is going to be square Neptune. So we've kind of got this 90-degree angle going on with Neptune, the planet of illusion and delusion, the planet of great healing and spirituality. Now, we have things going on all week, like Mercury, the planet of communication, is squaring Saturn, the planet of responsibility. We've got Jupiter, the planet of luck and blessings and expansion, squaring 90-degree angle with Saturn. We've got a lot of aspects that involve Saturn. The sun in the sign of Sagittarius squaring Saturn. Okay, so a lot of these angles, okay, which can be tough. They can be tough angles. So the word Saturn has been involved in all of that. And we know Saturn rules restriction, hardship, responsibility, but it does rule long-term success and it can bring greatness over time. Okay, so we don't want to push too hard with these squares. Expect delays, expect setbacks, plan accordingly. All right, all these retrogrades, you just have to, this is the only way to get through it. Okay, now the moon will stay in Capricorn on Tuesday the 3rd. Venus will have a nice trine with the planet Uranus, the oh wow planet, the planet of anything can happen, the planet of unexpected helpers, helpful people, because Uranus rules friends. So we have a beautiful trine there on Tuesday the 3rd, and the moon is also trine Uranus also. So two trines to Uranus. So on the 3rd, my advice is to focus on what and who you love, okay? Because a little bit lighter energy, but remember that Saturn energy goes along all week. There's a lot of themes of Saturn all month as we move into Capricorn season. And then we're going to talk about the kickoff to the new year, which also involves a lot of Saturn. Okay. So make sure that all week that you cross your T's and dot your I's. All right. Wednesday, the 4th, we have the moon and Pluto and Venus all together in the sign of Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, okay? Now, anytime you get the moon, which is like your feminine power, your kind of pull on people, Pluto, which rules deep emotion, it rules sex, it rules other people's money, and Venus, which rules relationships and love and all that, there's an opportunity for some really sexy energy. And there's also an opportunity for financial gain. Okay. So this is a pretty powerful day there on the 4th. Make the most of it. This is also going to be opposite Mars in the sign of Leo. Okay. Because these are the later degrees of Capricorn. Now, Thursday the 5th, we've got a nice trine with Jupiter. Got this opposition with Mars still going on and a square with Uranus. And so for Thursday, a lot of ideas around, a lot of other people's opinions. Just stay focused on your dreams, on your bigger picture, on your plans, okay? As we move into the Mars retrograde on the 6th, okay? Now, it's interesting. The retrograde starts at 6 degrees of Leo. And it's going to move back all the way to 17 degrees of Cancer. Now, the last time Mars was at 17 degrees of Cancer was October 5th. Okay, so going back to October 5th. And we said the Mercury retrograde was bringing us back to November 7th. All these backwards to October, November. Okay, so we're going to pay attention to what's happening during this retrograde. Now, Saturday the 7th, we have a lovely trine with Jupiter. Actually, Venus in Aquarius is going to be trining Jupiter. Jupiter's the planet of expansion, okay? So lots of love in the air on the 7th, but there may be some fear of commitment floating around. So just look that one right into the eyes, okay? Neptune goes direct on Saturday the 7th, so at least there'll be one less planet in retrograde. Now, Sunday, we have the moon moving into Pisces. So it moved into Pisces actually early morning on Saturday. So it's definitely going to add a lot in like the romantic realm, because Pisces to me is the romantic. But when we have fear floating around like we could have on Saturday, and we have Jupiter involved and Pisces involved, things can get big and things can get foggy, okay? But enjoy the fog, enjoy the passion, because we do have some planets in fire signs, and just make the most out of this Pisces weekend. Now, all right, I'm going to pull you some cards for this first week of December. I'm working with a couple different decks here. I got the Cozy Witch here for you. Let's see what you need to know as this Mars retrograde begins. And Venus moves to Aquarius and Neptune goes direct. We had some sexy energy there for you on Wednesday. So let's see what we've got going on. Haven't looked at any of these yet. All right. So the first one is the 7 of Good Cheer, which is the 7 of Cups from this Yuletide Tarot. So there's a lot of options. Okay. This is when you don't always know which one to pick. Lots of options, but the answers are in feeling, okay? Another 7 of Candles, which is 7 of Wands. And he's up there on stage, and there's a lot of attention on him, okay? So maybe you're like being pushed to answer something or come up with a solution to something, but you're not sure which way to go. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. And we said to be really careful, dot your I's, cross your T's, lots of ideas. And then it gets foggy towards the weekend. So let me see what else. Got the Emperor. It says being the authority of your own life comes with a lot of responsibility. Okay, now one thing about the Emperor that I usually say about the Emperor is it's card number 4. You think of the Emperor because he's ruled by Mars, or she in this version from the Cozy Witch Tarot. She's ruled by Mars, but Mars is the planet of action, but the Emperor doesn't rush into things. The Emperor has to make decisions for the whole empire. So if he feels or she feels cloudy about things or put on the spot for things, the Emperor is going to wait, okay? And it almost, I think this Emperor's holding like a stopwatch. So maybe you ask for what the deadline is for your decisions, okay? Sometimes I ask that when I don't know the answer. I'll just say, please tell me what the deadline is, okay? And then you've got 3 of Cups, 3 of Water, and it's lemon balm, which is so calming and relaxing. There's a lot of teas with lemon balm in it. Look how beautiful. I love this card. So it's kind of just saying, stay calm and take the time out to make the decisions that you need to make. Don't feel pressured. Don't feel rushed. Remember that Mercury is still in retrograde, and so maybe you can try to push off some of these decisions until it ends on the 15th. Now we're going to move into the next week, which is December 9th through December 15th, and there's a lot of fire. We start off with the moon entering Aries at 8:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 9th. Then we have Mars in Leo. We have Mercury in Sagittarius. So we've got a lot of fire going on, all right? Things can get feisty. And remember that square, that 90-degree angle between Mercury, the planet of communication, and Saturn, the planet. Watch your words, because there can be a lot of repercussions to it. And there's spice. So, put it into your love life, but don't put it into arguments, because you're going to revisit all of this time period. Okay. Now we have Tuesday the 10th. The moon will be in Aries. And at least on Tuesday the 10th, we have the planet Mercury trining the planet Mars. So Mercury, the communication, Mars action, they have a trine going on. That's a helpful thing. And my advice for you on the 10th is to try to see the humor in it all, okay? There's some Sagittarius energy going on, and we're still right in the heart of Sagittarius season. Sagittarius is a good comedian, and sometimes when there's all these squares and all these retrogrades going on, you just have to find the humor. Okay. Now, Wednesday the 11th, you want to stay cool, and you're going to want to stay grounded. There's the moon is in Taurus, and it's square Venus, and in Capricorn, and we got a bunch of squares going on between the moon and Mars and Venus. So the bottom line is stay cool and stay grounded. I recommend rose water spritz. I love to just squirt with rose water. Rose is said to be very high vibration. Okay. Part of why rose oil costs so much. All right. And so rosewater spritz is nice, calming, and then grounding stones. So you can be putting, some of the black stones in your pocket, like shungite or hematite. But I would be using, I like to use red jasper, something like that, something that feels earthy. Stones keep you grounded in general, but there's some that are more conducive to grounding energy. So find your stones. Now we move into the moon moves into Taurus on the morning on the 11th, the beautiful Venus sign Taurus. Okay. And so on the 12th, I said, don't waste your money. Stay focused on your work. And we were kind of noticing, with Mars retrograde, it's really easy to kind of get pulled into spending money on stupid things that we regret. So be really careful there while we have the moon in Taurus, which rules money, on the 12th into the 13th, Friday the 13th. the moon will move into Gemini right after lunch, okay? And it looks like the square with Mercury, the planet of communication, and Saturn ends, so that's kind of nice. And we're going to start going into a Venus trine Jupiter time that's going to be together with Pluto. So there's a lot of opportunities for passion. There's a lot of opportunities for good monies to come in with Venus trine Jupiter conjunct Pluto, which is now in the sign of Aquarius. This kind of has written on it to me like you could have a really good friend, you single people, who maybe have thought about dating, or maybe, well, this is a good time where it could show up. Okay. But remember, don't push too hard. Mars is in its retrograde. Mercury is still retrograde until Sunday, the 15th. So on Saturday, it's really social energy, but just avoid drama because Jupiter's involved. And when Jupiter's involved, everything gets really big. So let love get big. Don't let the drama get big. Okay. Now, Sunday, the 15th, remember, we're heading into this full moon, and this full moon is at 23 degrees Gemini. And this is about, it's interesting because it's 23 degrees Gemini, but the sun is in Sagittarius season, right? They're right across from each other. And this full moon is going to be conjunct Jupiter, and Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, okay? And Jupiter makes things bigger. So there's going to be a lot of choices. You're going to be pulled in two directions. There's going to be a square with Neptune, so it's going to make things cloudy, but there's a trine with Pluto and Venus, and let's focus on this trine. There's an opportunity for big love. There's an opportunity for big money. And I wrote, let the Christmas shopping begin. Okay. So it would be in your best interest to postpone your Christmas shopping. And this is from a shop owner. I hate to say it, but maybe little purchases before then, but the Christmas shopping really can start to kick into gear once Mercury goes direct at 3:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday the 15th. Now, Mars will still be in retrograde, so, you can't push things too hard, but I would begin making your list, sticking to it. Now, Let's pull a few cards for you for the week of 12/9 through 12/15. Thank goodness this Mercury retrograde comes to an end this week. We were talking about don't waste your money. And we're talking about how things are still a little foggy and how you have to stay grounded. So let's see what the cards have to say here. Working with a few different decks. This Yuletide one is brand new to me, so it's kind of exciting to pull them live because I really haven't seen them before. Card number 1 is the 9 of Gifts. And the gifts is the earth element in this deck. So everything's kind of there, and everything's really beautiful, and she actually just gets to enjoy the gift of the season, okay? And remember I was saying, don't waste money this week? She's kind of probably planned her gifts way in advance that she's able to relax this second week in December and not have to rush out because she planned ahead. And she didn't waste. She wasn't into impulse buying. Now, the 5 of Candles is here. And the candles is the fire element. So this is 5 of Wands. And it looks like dinner's over. Oh, and it looks like they're looking over the bill. So maybe they're out at a restaurant. That's funny because we were saying don't waste money. Okay, so maybe plan ahead for this. There's just showing kind of somebody's going to get stuck with that bill. Okay, so have a plan. If you're going out to dinner, have a plan in it, maybe in advance who's paying or how much you're paying, all that kind of stuff. Now you got the World card. This is like a kitchen garden here from the Herb Crafters Tarot. I don't know this plant, Pachamama. I don't know that, but I do know it's a kitchen garden. And the World card is a card of closure and a success, and it's a Saturn card. We've had a lot of Saturn energy, okay? So I do see things all kind of coming together. Also, this is, this is an herb garden. And so it's kind of almost like, I don't know, I kind of get the vibe like cook at home. Okay. And your next card is the Ace of Emotions, the Ace of Cups here. So there's a lot of emotion going on, but the Ace of Emotions is the cup of satisfaction. All right. So have a beautiful week. As we move into the week of December 16th through December 22nd. Now we're still going to be coming down off this full moon. Okay. So things are still big. Okay. Now I wrote down that Venus is trine Jupiter all week. So make good use of this powerful energy available in love and finance. Okay. Now on Monday the 16th, get your home ready for the holidays. The moon moves into Cancer. Okay. So, first of all, Jupiter is going to be square Saturn. So make a list of what you need for the holidays so that you can stick to it, because you don't want things to get too big. And then Jupiter's kind of like, hey, why'd you spend all that money? Okay. Make a shopping list and stick to it. Get your home ready for the holidays. The 16th and the 17th are great days to do that. Just enjoy the simple pleasures. Make your home beautiful, but you don't have to go crazy. I bet you have tons of decorations from last year. And I bet you if you went outside with some clippers, you could find some really interesting things outside to decorate with too. Okay. So we move into the 17th, which the moon will continue to be in the sign of Cancer till about 6:39 p.m. It's a great time to be menu planning and finding joy in the kitchen. All right. If you have your grandmother's cookbook or anything like that, get some menus out, start thinking about how you want to feel. And really kind of the theme was like using what you have. Okay. Now, Wednesday the 18th, the moon's in Leo and it will be conjunct Mars together with Mars. So Mars wants to take action, but it's retrograding. And it's going to be opposite Pluto and Venus. And I wrote down, it's a great day to just be a little bit lazy. And maybe it's like the kind of time, like maybe that's a good night where you watch a Christmas movie, okay? Or maybe you watch something that reminds you of this season, okay? Leo does rule like the movies, the big screen, so enjoy it, all right? Now, the 19th, the moon will continue to be in the sign of Leo, and it's going to be opposite Venus, and there's a lot of trines going on, which are the triangle aspects, which are considered the harmonious aspects. So take advantage of the spicy, harmonious energy that prevails. Could be social too. Now on the 20th, Friday the 20th, we'll have the moon in Leo until 2:37 a.m. Okay, so this is a good time for you to relax before the holidays as the moon moves into Virgo. It's not the best day for shopping, but just kind of get some rest, recharge, get things in order. Virgo loves order, okay? Now, on Saturday, the 21st, this is when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn. So everything I was saying about there being like a lot of Saturn energy increases even more because Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, okay? So we move into, this is the winter solstice, this is Yule, this is the height of the season, all right? On the 21st, I'm sure you're going to be busy with holiday plans. Keep the list short on Saturday. Sunday is a much better day to socialize. The moon will move into the peacemaking kind of social sign of Libra, relationship sign by 2:08 p.m. on Saturday, the 22nd. So enjoy. Okay, so cards for the week of 12/16 through 12/22. This beautiful week with Venus trine Jupiter. And, it was kind of like I was recommending a lot of like slow, lazy energy if you could this week. Really enjoying. And let's see what the cards have to say. I'm excited to see these Yuletide Tarot because they're brand new to me. And your first card is the Eight of Candles, which would be traditionally the Eight of Wands, which is kind of like a travel card. And There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of beauty. I love the candles and the snow. As we're finishing up an 8-year, 2024 equals 8. So this is the last of our 8-year, moving into a 9. Speaking of 9, we get 9 of canes, 9 of candy canes, which canes is the air element. So this is the traditional 9 of swords, okay? And it looks like I think he's chewing on a pen and he's making a list. And it looks like he ripped up a lot of papers there. So he's got a lot on his mind, and maybe he's like trying to figure out everyone he has to buy for, or maybe just he's got a lot on his mind, okay? This is often called the insomnia card. And then with the 8 of Wands here, it's like there's a lot of stimulation going on. Let's see if we can get some solutions here. We have Madre of Earth, the creosote bush. Not familiar with the plant, but this is the Queen of Pentacles, okay? And she's like making an offering. Let's see what else we've got. The 9 of Earth. Ah, this is a card of being like really resourceful. There's a lot. Everything's kind of lush. So I don't know, everything kind of was giving me vibes like this holiday season of being a little bit frugal and using kind of what you have and not overburdening yourself. I mean, I'm sure that's like great advice for every Christmas, but this one's really saying like go simple. I'm just going to pull one more for a little more clarity. This is the 3 of gifts, and gifts are the earth element. Oh, this is so cute. She's like making a dollhouse. I love dollhouses. So she's making her own gifts, okay? So it's kind of like lining up with the other things I was saying here. There's like a frugalness, but there's also a beauty. There's some simple things planned out, homemade things, okay? So we don't need more products, right? We just need some simple acts of kindness and love and beauty and caring, and it doesn't have to break the bank. And we don't want to break the bank with all these retrogrades, with this Mars retrograde. And so just kind of living simply is the message. Now we're going to move into the week of the 23rd through the 29th. This is your Christmas week. And we continue to have Mercury square Saturn, and we have Venus square Uranus. So the squares are like the 90-degree angles, the ones that make things a little bit harder. Monday, the 23rd, the moon will be in Libra. Get your shopping done, but follow traffic laws carefully. A lot of Saturn energy. Saturn is the law, okay? Now, Tuesday, a lot of peacemaking energy with the moon in Libra. You know, Capricorn, the sun's in Capricorn, which is this cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are the signs that push forward the season. They've got a lot of oomph and they like to be in charge, okay? So you've got the sun in this cardinal sign and then the moon in this cardinal sign of Libra, because Libra pushes forward fall. And this is Christmas Eve. And so a lot of kind of energy, and try to compromise without compromising yourself. Okay. That's the advice for Christmas Eve. Be kind, but don't let yourself be walked all over. Now, Wednesday, the 26th, there's a bunch of squares, the moon square Mars and Pluto, which are cousins. Okay. Pluto and Mars. Pluto and Mars are the co-rulers of Scorpio, and the moon will move into Scorpio by 3:06 a.m. So technically our Christmas day is in Scorpio with the moon square both ruling planets of Scorpio. Plus Venus square Uranus. Uranus rules large groups of people, friends. So it's an interesting Christmas day. Everyone thinks they're right, and don't even think about fighting. Okay, just take that away. It's Scorpio. You're going to feel things. Feelings are going to be strong. It's watery, and it's just too easy to fight, and it's not going to be pretty if you do. Mars is the god of war, and Pluto in Greek mythology is Hades. So let's not get into it, especially with the moon being a feminine planet, Mars being written as a symbol for men. Okay, there cannot be fighting amongst men and women, masculine, feminine energy. Make a decision to keep the peace. Okay, now things get a little bit lighter, start to get a little bit lighter, but it's still pretty moody and sensitive on Thursday, the 26th. The moon will be square Venus. Okay, so just be easy, especially with mom, especially with the women in your life. Now, the 27th, the mood lifts midday as the moon moves into Sagittarius. And Friday, the 27th, is a great time to make plans with friends. Okay. Now, on the 28th, so we'll go into pretty much a Sagittarius weekend. So Sagittarius, it's lighter energy, it's social energy, it's kind of bigger picture energy. So Saturday, just make sure your responsibilities to your family are cared for first, but then Saturday has a lot of social energy. The Sagittarius moon will be close to Mercury. Mercury rules roadways and pathways and communication, and it's direct now, thank goodness. And it will be opposite Jupiter in Gemini. So we've got Gemini is ruled by Mercury, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. They're kind of both on across from each other. And so just, make sure everybody's happy, not just you. There's kind of like this seesaw energy, and but it's a little bit lighter than Christmas Day. All right. Now, the 29th, the moon will continue to be in the sign of Sagittarius until late in the evening, and energy starts to lighten up, and we're heading to a Capricorn new moon. All right, so let's see what you need to know. I want to pull a few cards for you for this Christmas week. Let's see what we got using this new deck that I'm really not that familiar with, Yuletide Tarot, but we are going to use it here to see what you need to know this Christmas week. This one's hopping out. Got a couple other decks over here. I'm going to use the herb crafters, see if there's some herbs, some solutions to the feistiness of this week. It's like, I think of Scorpio, I think of like, it's a water sign, but when you think about like the 8th house that Scorpio owns, it's like a hot and spicy water house, right? Because it does rule sex. So there's a lot of intensity over this holiday. Let's see what you need to know. It says 5 of good cheer. This is the 5 of cups. There's some cups spilled there. Let's not get into it over the cups spilled. I have an Airbnb, and one of the advice that Airbnb gives in the beginning to you as a host, it says, don't fight with people over little things that are going to ruin, your relationship with your clients. And it was like, expect for glasses to break. Just expect it. Just have cases of glasses ready so you can replace it, okay? Because that's the reality of it. If you want to fight about it, you're just going to ruin your business. People aren't going to come back. And that's what I thought of when I looked at this. It's like, okay, just have a case of wine glasses, or just be ready that there will be some things broken, some things that don't work out. I love that there's like a rainbow in the background that kind of has like 10 of cups vibes to me, like happy family. Concentrate on here's the 2 cups, the people that showed up, the loving relationships that you have, and just don't cry over the few broken glasses. Your second card is the Sun. And it's funny because here's those 2 glasses again. Now they're holding them, having a picnic. It looks so joyful. I love that the Sun card, like a winter version of the Sun card, that looks so beautiful and peaceful. And, for some of you who don't, like myself, don't have a lot of Christmas traditions, I didn't grow up with Christmas. As I've shared a lot of stories about growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. And if you haven't caught all those stories, you can head over to the blog on Tarot in Time, and I uploaded them there. But to me, like, this is a beautiful way to celebrate Christmas, right? for some of us, that would be the beauty, that we don't have to do it the way everybody else is doing it. So it's just like, enjoy the joy, what you do have, whatever it may be. Now, let's see, we've got the Nine of Air, which is pomegranate. Okay, so this is traditionally the Nine of Swords. And it's like, it's cut open, but like, it's so beautiful, all the pomegranates inside. So there's like a sweetness here. And Nine of Swords, Nine of Air is traditionally like over worrying about all the things that could go wrong. But there's a lot of beauty here. Okay. And another card for you from the Muse Tarot, we got the World card, and this one is said the World Cosmos. So her whole head is almost like this world, and this is a card of success, and this is a card of some endings also. So I kind of get the vibes like maybe you're considering changing up some of your holiday traditions. But this is also a card ruled by Saturn. And we said that this week and this month in general has a lot of Saturn activity. Okay. But this is a card of success. So I'm happy to see it here, even though we have two cards that could be considered kind of negative, the Five of Cups and the Nine of Swords. But the Sun and the World really balance it out here. So enjoy this holiday week. Now we move into the week of 12/30 through 1/5. We're going into the new year here. And we have the new moon on the 30th at 9 degrees of Capricorn. So we keep up this Saturn theme because Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. And Saturn's like the lord of the zodiac, like the father of the zodiac, okay? And so new moon in Capricorn. So check out and see where 9 degrees of Capricorn falls in your chart. Now remember, Mercury square Saturn and Jupiter, and there's a lot going on. The moon's opposite Mars. Mars is retrograded. So just be gentle, okay? Envision yourself being more gentle to yourself more often. New moon, 9 degrees Capricorn on Monday, the 30th. Now, as we move into Tuesday, the 31st, we have the moon still in Capricorn. It's still opposite Mars. It's getting really close to Pluto in the early degrees of Aquarius. And there's a trine with Uranus. I wrote down that there's going to be a strong need for safety. Things could be moody. So if you're out with some people, out with friends, which it's a great day to be with friends with the trine with Uranus, but just know, like, stay safe. Make the people that you're with feel safe. Maybe that's just by like confirming your plans and making sure that you have a table and triple checking and all that kind of stuff. Just a version of safety and a version of like being careful, being thoughtful. Okay. So that is the 31st, New Year's Eve. Now we're going to move into our new year here, and I made a chart for the new year. And I find it very interesting. So last year, for this whole year of 2024, what we do is we make a chart for 12:01 a.m. and we see where the moon is, what the aspects are, because we know that that's like what the kickoff energy is for the new year. Now, last year we were in the Mercury retrograde and the moon was in Virgo, which was ruled by Mercury. So we kind of had like a Mercury retrograde theme all year. Okay. Now this year, I wonder if you can guess what sign the moon's in. I think I already said it. But the moon will be at 26 degrees of Capricorn. So getting in the late degrees, which means it's considered conjunct together with, because it's only like 5 degrees away from Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. Okay. So there's going to be a kickoff of a lot of Pluto involved, which means there's going to be a lot of power, but there's going to be a lot of change. And in numerology, when you add 2025 to one digit, we get the number 9. And the number 9 is the cycle's run in 9. So it's the last of the cycle. We have the moon in Capricorn, which feels, I don't know, it feels like endings to me. And Pluto there helping it out to clean up any more endings. So you may have a lot of themes this year of your career, of your long-term standing in society, your legacy, right? There's a lot of things about, do I want to work here? Do I want to live here? What do I want to change? But remember, we're not going to really see, we may see it, we may feel it, we may be mulling it over. It's in its gestation period until we get to spring, okay? And then spring, things start to click a little more. And things will click even more in 2026 when we start a new cycle. We'll be in a 1 year in 2026. So themes for this year. Well, Venus will be in Aquarius, so love will be interesting, different, new friends on the horizon. We will have Neptune getting to its late degrees of Pisces. So there's a lot of healing energy going on. And we will have, because the moon is in the sign of Capricorn, it will be trining Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, in the sign of Taurus. So there's a lot of monies that can show up. There's a lot of new things of value. There's new friends that can show up. All right. And there is, what else? There's a lot of Earth. We've got Jupiter and Gemini. We've got a nice balance, I guess. A pretty decent balance. I mean, if you really look at the chart, most of the planets are towards the right side of the chart, which is the relationship side, okay? So it doesn't have as much independent energy. It kind of has more relationship energy, but things are healing and things are growing. And I really think you're going to have a better understanding of yourself, what you want to do, especially with themes of work, especially with themes of like, where do I want to live, right? I know this election brought that up for a lot of people. Do I want to live in this country? And you may find by spring that the answer is no. Or you may find that you want to move to a different state. We're going to see a lot of changes coming in this spring. So rest up now. Now, that's a long Wednesday the 1st advice for you. So welcome to 2025. The themes are gestation period until spring, when decisions are made. Now, Thursday the 2nd, we'll have Venus moving into the romantic sign of Pisces, okay? And then we'll have the moon moving into, well, it moved into Aquarius later. That's not true. It moved into Aquarius early morning on the 1st. So on the 2nd, it will continue to be in the sign of Aquarius. Just go slow, spend some time in nature. And on the 3rd, I would say continue the moving slowly, savor the slowness, contemplate what brings you joy, okay? We're going to have a lot of planets in Pisces. Things are going to be really watery and emotional. It's not going to be easy to move quickly or to get things done quickly because Mars is retrograding. And then we have all this watery energy going on, okay? So my advice to you is contemplate what brings you true joy. Savor the slowness. And we have a nice slow weekend with the moon in the sign of Pisces all weekend. So get a lot of rest, no major decision. And by Sunday evening, a little later, maybe like later afternoon, the fog will start to lift as the moon moves into the sign of Aries. Okay, we'll have more clarity. So let's pick a couple cards for you on this New Year week, right? New moon, New Year week. And let's see what you need to know here. Here's the Justice card. I think it's kind of funny. He got coal, right? There's coal. He doesn't look too upset, but it looks like justice has been served, right? This is card number 11, which equals a 2. So this is a relationship card, okay? So coal, so interesting. Things are starting to show what the reality is, I guess, but coal on a Christmas morning to a little kid is a little bit intense. We might want to go a little easier this week. Now we've got the Two of Candles, which is traditionally the fire element. So this is Two of Wands. It's interesting. She's writing letters. Okay, this is card 11, which is 2. And then you got another 2. So we've got a lot of relationship themes. And she's writing out Christmas cards, Christmas letters, maybe thank yous. So there's communication happening here. Another 2. 2 of Good Cheer, which is the 2 of Cups. Okay, so you got a lot of relationship themes this week. And I would just enjoy the watery romantic energy of Pisces this week. I think it's a great time if you're just looking to savor. It's not a great time if you're looking for clarity, right? Some jumper cards there. Let me put them back in, see what else we need to know this week. We have the 7 of Inspiration, the 7 of Wands. So it looks like there's starting to be, like she's pushing back, starting to be some clarity. But I don't think that that's going to come until the end of the week. And let's just pull an herbal tarot so we can see if there's any advice for you, any herbs or any self-care here. And you got the Lovers, which is hawthorn. And I know the hawthorn is like a revitalizing plant to revitalize your love life. Okay, so you have a lot of love life themes here. And my attention keeps going to this one. Like there's a light shining bright. She's just kind of opening. She's being maybe more vulnerable, more just sharing more in like feelings. And there's true connection here. So I would make really great use of this in your love life. If that does not apply to you, then just make really good use in your relationships. Showing up, maybe clearing some old things up here, expressing your feelings, but remembering that things are foggy and Mars is still in retrograde, okay? Happy New Year. So thank you for joining me this big month of December. I'm really excited about the new year, and stay tuned.